Hey everyone. So for this discussion, I feel like this case was one in which it was very easily avoidable for the counselor to not have gotten into the trouble that she got in. Essentially, this client was seeing a child, and the father of that child was telling her like, oh yeah, like I have full custody, the mother's unfit to be a parent, and like don't talk about the custody battle with the child either because the child's going to get upset. And then it turned out that the child actually had um, like split custody between the parents, so the parents had joint custody, and there was no clear evidence that the child was ever threatened or in danger with their mother. um, and so the counselor took some very, bad steps in going about it, just in terms of how the counselor was documenting everything. The counselor was using language like the mother was unfit to be a parent without actually having evidence that the mother was an unfit parent. And in the document, it even states that the mother had tried to reach out several times to the counselor, but the counselor decided not to reach back out just because the father said that he had full custody and the mother didn't have custody all over the child. So, kind of like it was saying towards the end, the counselor should have definitely secured a copy of the child custody court order, because with that information, she would have been able to be as just clear and objective about the facts as possible when it came to the court hearing. So, because the counselor did not take those steps, that resulted in the counselor getting a 1 year suspension because the mother understandably filed a complaint with the board. And I think that goes to show all of us when we are in our practice, that we need to be as objective with facts as possible, and that we need to be gathering all the information possible instead of just going off of one person's word for everything. Because, like, yes, we would like to believe the best of the people that we work with and our clients, but the truth is that we ultimately don't know until we have physical proof right in front of us. So I think that goes to show us that we need to gather information from all the people involved that we need. And of course, that we need to be letting those clients know whenever we do have to share information with third parties. So there's that. And then I also do agree that the counselor should have consulted another counseling professional, whether that's a supervisor or just, another counselor, just about like, hey, what should I do in this case? Because the father's saying one thing, but I don't have any proof for it. And I believe that having another professional's, professional opinion on it would have really helped the counselor be guided onto the right track in terms of what she should have done. Um, and so, because the client did not reach out to all people involved, and because they shared information that turned out to be not true whatsoever, didn't have any ground or basis to it, the LPC was in violation of state statutes as well as the ACA Code of Ethics. So I think that goes to show that if we're going to make any drastic decisions, like, okay, I'm going to go into court and, you know, make this statement as a fact, we need to go into the ACA Code of Ethics. We need to look into the legality of the situation and, not only protect our clients, in terms of what can be shared, what can't be shared, but to also protect ourselves, because we need to make sure that we are sharing information that is factual and that has, grounds to it, instead of just going off of one person's word for it. So yeah, that's my opinion on this discussion. Is just that we need to be very careful with just taking one person's word for everything, and we always need to be, considering the ACA Code of Ethics and the law whenever we are making these steps, such as, not reaching out to third parties, sharing information that's very subjective instead of objective. You know, we need to make sure that we're staying professional and that we're covering everything that we need to for our clients and everything that we need to so we can keep ourselves and our licenses intact and safe.